this year. Here we go. Oh, it's been a while. Okay. G1 Climax 30, the journey where we find who will be the one, has been underway now as we continue this month-long 19-event excursion of professional wrestling. Boy, has it been surprising. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this little special simple take on the G1 Climax as a whole. My name is Noah Foster. I'm just a simple man, and it is my esteemed pleasure, humble honor to welcome back to the NJPW forums on this channel. Leader, creator of Team All Elite, a great friend in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's, of course, this good-hearted fellow right here, the Elite Hitman, Mark the Griff. Mark, how are you? It's been a while.
I know. I haven't been on camera for like 2 or 3 months, it seems like, man. There's just been a lot going on, and yeah, I wanted to send you a message this morning. I was like, I didn't care what company we talked about. I just wanted to talk about some wrestling, whether it was New Japan or whether it was with you on Spark. Either way, I was ready, so I wasn't going to miss this for the world.
Hey, all I know, man, is during this time, this unique period of our lives as individuals, but also as wrestling fans, it's been the wildest time in my existence. And we'll look back on this and be like, I remembered we went through this and survived it. We can only hope we all come out, wrestling fans, wrestlers, non-wrestling floors galore, come out of this thing better. And overall, man, I'm always up to talk wrestling anytime with anybody over various things, because what am I? I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of ... wrestling. So whether it's WWE, NXT, NXT UK, NWA, and as you know, NWA Power should be returning according to the Real World's champion Nick Aldis. So I'm looking forward to you picking up your NWA discussions once again. And of course, my number one, which is what we're here today to talk about, New Japan Pro Wrestling. So with that being said, I'm glad to know that you and your family members and loved ones are safe, are in positive spirits, and it's great to be here talking to you. So let's go ahead and talk about this G1 Climax, the 30th inauguration of the G1 Climax. I don't know about you, but this has been anything but predictable for me as we look forward to day 5 with less than 12 hours away. So let's go ahead and briefly talk about what we've been through so far. 4 days of action, 2 days from each block respectively, and the Young Lions on a 2-1 handicap as one represents the Ladies Dojo, the other 2 represents the JPW Dojo. Gabriel Kidd, Yosuke Yamera, they're doing their own little thing, which I think is a little unique. What's also unique is the fact we don't have both blocks participating every night due to the precautions they are doing against COVID-19. It's literally a Young Lions single, and then that block runs their 5 matches that night. In a way, it's made it easier for me, because again, I'm dedicated to this to watch it live. It's made it easier for me to watch these live because they now all end in under about 2.5 hours maximum, which really impresses me. So first off, what do you think so far from the presentation standpoint of this G1? How have you liked it or coped with it?
I've actually enjoyed it because just like you said, not to piggyback off what you just said, but just the 2.5 to 2 hour shows has been excellent, man. You know what I mean? I'm able to get up and I'm able to watch the whole event before work, and then I go to work and then I'm good to go for the rest of the day. I actually enjoy it this way.
Yeah, I must say it's a lot easier when you just put the focus on one block versus figuring out, okay, these guys have to win an attack special. Maybe I should figure about them winning the next day because they're going to be in action the next day of block action. So it's nice. It kind of gives me a little bit of focus. It's like how I treat AEW and NXT. I dedicate NXT now strictly to Thursdays, both brands, while Wednesday nights, I'm with AEW. And stay tuned, folks. I will be doing, of course, an AEW Spark, maybe with this gentleman, and a brand new series called the NXT Scene, providing you a weekly review of both NXT shows weekly. But enough about the other promotions. Wow. Let's focus on not those. Let's focus on this, because this is the king of sports and the leader in professional wrestling, king of sports streaming, as Ray Kelly puts it. From a presentation standpoint, it's been a lot easier, but it's also been a much more unique experience because, again, watching it live, we're watching with Japanese commentary. I feel like I connect more with Japanese commentary now than English commentary, just from their energy and the fact that the most vocal part of this entire thing. Because during this COVID era, the way the fans now show their approval or booing is through silence or only clapping. And it's weird because when you think about what drives a story, what drives a professional wrestling match, it's gotta be the fans and the energy from it. And clapping only seems, I feel like, carry them so far. I mean, Jay White, of course, is taking a huge advantage of this, mocking the fans like, let's hear it, Ibushi. But I don't know about you, but I kind of miss that fan interaction. Do you think the fact that the fans can't vocally react to the wrestlers has maybe helped the way the matches go or hinder them in a way for certain wrestlers in New Japan Pro Wrestling?
See, I can see pros and cons from both sides. I can see where having that interaction with the fans can inspire you, drive you, but I could also see that, you know, it could also, the silence, you already know that they're paying their respects, and it could also maybe help you maybe focus a little bit more and concentrate on performing and having a great match. It depends on what how you feel, is it how you can help that to your advantage, whether it's a disadvantage. I think it's up to the competitor.
Yeah, and when I think about disadvantages, maybe the ones that might be disadvantaged the most by it is probably the biggest faces in New Japan Pro Wrestling, because we know they have huge ones, including but not limited to the ace in New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Golden Star, Kota Ibushi. But enough about the aesthetics as we've looked at the presentation of the G1, the outlook and the setup. Let's talk about the wrestling. Oofa, 2 wild days for each of the blocks so far. We have dedicated block leaders. We have surprising people still with 0. We've had upsets galore where Cindy literally has played that voice of me saying, what the beep? And I don't know about you, but even I have taken my glasses off on a couple of these. I'm like, what the hell? So let's go ahead and briefly look at what we've seen so far. Opening day was A block action. It involved Shingo Takagi. Opening day was A block action. It involved Shingo Takagi versus Jay White, and Jay White's New Japan return to Japan, literally. Minoru Suzuki versus Tomohiro Ishii, Taiji versus Jeff Cobb, Will Ospreay making his New Japan return, which I know has been a huge, controversial note for some, including Cindy G. Please follow her podcast in the Stratosphere. And he was facing Toga Gerald Takahashi. And then our main event was a Wrestle Kingdom rematch between Okada and Kota Ibushi. When I look at this opening day, there was really only 2 matches that really drew me in. The other ones kind of felt weird. But before I give you my thoughts on which matches like really stuck out to me day one, what was your thoughts on the opening day? Like Will Ospreay's return, Jay White's return. What was your match of the night?
Man, my match of the night, wow. I would probably have to say the Kota versus Okada, to be honest with you. But just to go on to something else real quick, I haven't seen Ospreay so happy than he was night one coming out there, interacting with those fans, and I can say he's in great shape. You can tell that he was definitely looking forward to this, and I thought it was a relatively good match. As far as I will say that Yano, I know that could be its own segment of itself. He's the one who's had me taking my glasses off, wiping them. But you know what? I should have expected this. I really should have expected this, and I don't know why I didn't take that into play when I made my picks. But But either way, I was glad to see the foreigners return. Juice looked good. Of course, Jay White looks great. He looks like he's starting on a good path. Night one overall was excellent, and I really enjoyed. I believe they were in Osaka, correct? I think the fans were amazing.
Yeah, the fans reacted rather well. First 2 opening days, you said A block and B block. I like how you combine them into one. They were in Osaka, and the next opening days that we just got through, they were in Sapporo. And I believe that the days coming up are coming from Kobe, including tomorrow, Kobe, Kobe. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on day 5. Let's go ahead and briefly look at basically the scores so far. We have A block, Kota Ibushi with 2, Jeff Cobb with 2, Ruenameka Okada with 2. I can't believe he started out with a loss, though. Tomohiro Ishii with 0. Will Ospreay is a block leader with 4. Shingo Takagi has 0. Minoru Suzuki has 2. Taiji with 4. And Jay White with 4. We have 3 block leaders for the A block. Now, I'm sure one doesn't surprise people based on the fact that he has garnered, I believe, more respect among the New Japan fan base. From the most hated man to more so respected man, because again, what he says, he backs up. Of course, I'm talking about King Switch. As this year, instead of going 0 for the first 3, he's right now perfect across his first 2. What really surprised me so far about this block when I look at these scores, it's probably the fact that, 1, Okada believes that he's going to resort to his ace in the hole now called the money clip, his Cobra clutch. It seems he's trying to really avoid using the Rainmaker, but I feel like that could be his downfall. I don't know if he's trying to prove something to himself or show something different to us, but this doesn't feel like the same Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada that was your top tier draw that always did whatever it took to win in the most fair way possible to push himself to his limits to prove why he is the top guy in New Japan. What has been your thoughts on Okada so far and his performance? I mean, the opening day, he lost to Kota Ibushi, and I think it's because at one point he did like a small little lariat, but he was reluctant to do the Rainmaker. Do you think that was his downfall?
It's got to be. I don't know. I actually predicted Okada to be the very first person in history since the new format to run the table and win the whole thing, and that was broken up from day one. So I was disappointed, and it seems like he's trying for this choke, the clutch. I can't remember exactly what you called it, but he's trying to get this over. And money clip. He's trying to get this over, and I just don't see it. I think eventually here in the next few matches coming up, he's probably going to win with it, but I don't know if that's for his benefit or not. I don't know why. And I thought a few months back that this was the beginning of a dark side of Okada. I really thought that it was a more vicious Okada. But then when he started getting into six-man tags, he kind of went back to his face, still kind of trying to do the money clip, but not as much. But now it's back to being a focal point again, which I believe that there's a bigger story behind all this. But maybe we'll find out by the time this is all said and done.
Well, I mean, Cody returned on AEW as the true American Nightmare once again. Gone is the gold hair, back to the black hair, all black suit, double winter tie knot. So maybe a dark Okada might be on the horizon, like a dark storm type thing. But I don't know. It's just Okada this year has felt really weird to me. And again, he dropped his first one, which really surprised me. Then you got Kota Ibushi, who says he wants to become God with capital G, ascend past his gods, Shinsuke Nakamura and Hiroshi Tanahashi. And you feel that would be a driving force towards people believing Kota might win. And Jay White literally planted him on his neck, Jesus, after countering Kamigoye into Blade Runner. It feels like right now, when I look at this A block, your lead person to win might be Jay White. But then again, as I said, I look at what really has been a focal point for me this year in the 7 New Japan, and it looks like it comes down to LIJ and Suzuki-gun. They're the leaders right now, I think, when it comes to the storylines, championships, championship aspirations. Suzuki-gun now having most of the go, ruling both the tag team divisions, the King, Minoru Suzuki, Hasanina Red, the never-weight champion. But it sounds like Taiji might be trying to surpass the King, because he beat him in his G1CLIMAX match. I couldn't believe it. If nothing else, that's got to set up a never overweight time match past the G1. But give me your thoughts more so on Taiji, and what do you think might be going on in Suzuki-gun right now? I think there's like maybe a change in leadership trying to happen.
Yeah, I New Japan want to get behind Taichi, and this is not the first time they've tried to get behind Taichi. I think they tried to give him a nice little push a year or two ago, but now I really feel like they're really trying to push hard for him. And I picked him to beat Suzuki, and that's exactly what happened. And now that Suzuki-gun's got a lot of the championships, you know what? I don't think the leader is the thing in question. I think it's about as far as maybe loyalty goes, maybe. I think there might be some people. See, I can't say that either. I mean, there's just so much going on. I feel like I understand what's going on, and then they switch it up.
So switch on you.
Either way, they pull the switch on me. So I was just about to shoot out a theory that was an old theory that I don't even feel that way anymore, and that's why I backtracked a little bit. And that's the thing is it's kind of hard to predict the G1 and the storylines going into them, but I will say that Taichi, I'm fully behind him. I think that the company is fully behind him now too. So.
Yeah, it would not surprise me if we have, again, I think next year's Wrestle Kingdom is going to be LIJ, Suzuki-gun main eventing. And again, when I look at the history among Tetsuya Naito, who's trying to define his own destino, trying to pull the Okada run that you thought Okada might do, as again, he is the double champion, I feel like that might be a leading story in the Wrestle Kingdom. But speaking of Tetsuya Naito and his destino, let's go ahead and look at the B block, because the B block to me has been very much more surprising and explorative, but also a bit more even. Hiroshi Tanahashi, though, with 0 points right now. Juice Robinson with a good, perfect run of 4, block leader. Goto with 2. Toru Yano is the scariest thing out of the G1CLIMAX right now. And 2020, if I'm honest with you. 4 points. Yoshihashi, 0. Tetsuya Naito with 4. Sonata with 0. And I'm like, what? Zack Sabre Jr. with 2. Kenta with 2. And I feel like New Japan really does not like Evil's recent turn to Bullet Club because the graphics says 0, but we both know he has 2 points. NJPW972.com, you might want to fix that. I'm surprised Evil didn't look at it. But with that being said, let's go ahead and look at the B block. You already talked about Juice Robinson. What an amazing return for this guy. He really brings a brand new heightened energy, it seems, back to New Japan Pro Wrestling and to the fans and the commentary, clearly, with his Freddie Mercury type look and vibe. I thought he was representing Blues Brothers. I was wrong. But what surprises me so far, he's 2 for 2. He's got a perfect run. And he beat Kenta, who I might add is the holder of the IWGP Rights Certificate to Challenge for the United States Championship, held by Jon Moxley. It would not surprise me, though, if another story come out of this is Juice Robinson's versus Kenta for that briefcase, and we relook at the history of Jon Moxley and Juice Robinson in a whole different light. So with that being said, the B block to me has been very explorative, and I feel like, again, the biggest shockers, both taking my glasses off during it, especially with the last one, was Toru Yano, who beat the Ace blind. Again, blind. How does one do that? Are you kidding me? You try to outsmart Toru Yano, and he literally beats you blind? What? I can't believe I'm seeing this, but I believe his next match with Evil. I want Evil to win because the scariest thing to happen out of this G1 is Toru Yano main eventing Wrestle Kingdom. Okay? But I digress. Anyway, give me your thoughts so far on the B block action. I don't know about you, but I feel like the most surprising thing right now when I look at the B block, Sonata's with 0. You think about his breakout year from last year, given the Tokyo Sports Match of the Year and having the feud of the year, right of the year with Okada. 2020 has not been the year of Sonata. Lost New Japan Cup, lost Wrestle Kingdom Zack Sabre Jr. British Heavyweight Championship, and right now he's goose-egged in the G1. What does this guy need to do? Give me your thoughts on the B block so far and what really has been depressing or surprising you.
That you got to say it before I even said it. That was going to be my biggest surprise of the G1 was Sonata having that goose egg 0-2, and it's just I'm so tired of getting disappointed on Sonata, and I hate to be negative about it, but I have been behind Sonata for a long, long time. And for whatever reason, he just seems like he always lets me down, man. He always does. And now he just with the double count now, the getting taped, and just everything is just, I don't know. It's just frustration on my part, I guess. But either way, I wish him the best, but overall, I was actually listening to Dave Meltzer, and he did say something that I agree with. He's missing something, man, and I don't know what it is. He maybe it's charisma or I don't know what it is, but he's missing something, and maybe when he finds it, maybe he'll get on the right path. But Sonata has just been a disappointment to me so far, man. He really has been.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he's better than that.
Absolutely.
He's better than that.
We know he has charisma. The fans get behind him. He even talked about, what do you think about the idea of a New Japan led by Sonata? And, of course, the fans react to that positively. We know he's a great in-ring competitor, but it seems like maybe he's just not digging deep enough, and maybe he's focused too much on, like, supporting and doing moves in the name of his models, like that moonsault, for example. Maybe he needs a more effective pinning maneuver besides that clutch that's got him in the win a couple of times. Maybe he shouldn't rely so heavy on Skull, and he's missing something. I completely agree, but I don't know what. It's a really weird time for Sonata. I think right now he's trying to figure himself out mentally. Because, again, this guy, he wears emotion on his shoulder. He just doesn't really show it. And I don't really know what drives Sonata forward. What does Sonata want? Now, clearly, Tetsuya Naito, he wants Sonata. That's a match to come, and maybe that will finally, drive something forward. Because for a period, it's really to me that if someone was going to take the reins past Tetsuya Naito, in case he lost the rest again, I thought it was going to be Sonata, but I don't even know what to think anymore. It's a really weird time. But with that being said, we look at the A block and the B block. We always see the solo competition among the blocks themselves to find their top winner. But then I remembered Chris Charlton, I think, highlight this idea that it seems like one block's trying to outperform the other. We've had 2 days now from each of the blocks, and I look at the overall match qualities, the results, the overall type storylines drawn out of it. You would think the A block right now would be the one I think that's been performing more for me, because you got your all-stars there with the ace of Tanahashi, who's been out of the A block for the first time in 8 years. Still can't believe that. But I don't know about you, but I think I've actually been more impressed and enjoyed more B block matches than A block matches. When you look at the wrestling quality overall these last 2 days, what block have you enjoyed seeing wrestle more? What's impressed you more, the A block or the B block overall?
You were starting to break up a little bit. Can you repeat the question, Noah?
Oh, yeah, no problem. What block has impressed you more overall so far this G1, the A block or the B block?
See, I'm gonna be kind of biased here. I'm gonna go with probably the A block, to be honest with you. Not taking anything away from the B block, of course, but I just think I'm interested in a lot of the Will Ospreay matches because he is an A block, correct? I don't want to be wrong.
That is correct.
Okay. I'm interested in the Will Ospreay matches, and of course, I think overall the matchups have been. I feel like there's a lot of dominance so far in the A block. B block has shocked me. You know what I mean? And it's actually been the block that I've actually got the most losses on would be B block. But either way, as far as the wrestling goes, I'm A block has been for me so far.
Yeah, when I look at the action across the blocks, I mean, I look at the most impressive matches for me. Definitely Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tetsuya Naito has been my most impressive match so far when those two went to the time limit. But I look at the other matches from that block. Juice Robinson versus Kenta was awesome. Yoshihashi really took Evil to the limit, trying to outsmart the two. I thought Sanada and Goto had a great opening bout, but I'm still surprised by the result. But overall, I got to go with A block. Kota Ibushi and Jay White, very good match. Okada has not impressed me so far. Minoru Suzuki has always been my guy, so duh. And his two matches so far, Tomohiro Ishii and Taiji, I've really enjoyed both of those. Shingo Takagi and Jeff Cobb have just teared into each other. So yeah, I think overall I've liked more of the A matches. I like more of the A block matches more. So as we go into day 5, let's go ahead and look at the scores of the G1 Climax. And shout out to @CRRH. Please follow him on Twitter and follow WrestleJoy. This has been a really fun competition. And again, one night can make you or break you. So far, Mark,
Yes,
when I look at the group of people that we know, friends among the wrestling community, outside Team Ali, people I know on Twitter, etc., I'm just going to throw out some names. So Sierra, who made this, he's at 20. Gina Schultz, she's at 16. Your girl Ashley is at 24, tied with Cindy G. Phoenix, AEW, Amy, God bless her. She's at 20. I'm tied with her with 20. But so far, Mark, you're very impressive. You've got 26. You're actually, I think, up in the top 20. So kudos to you, sir. I'm kind of impressed by that, and I'm actually rooting for you to win this. But looking at tomorrow's action, which we'll discuss, I looked at my picks and your picks. You and I are different by 1. So we're either going to flop or I'm going to actually maybe pick up some stuff. So with that, let's go ahead and look at the next. What?
I was going to tell you. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was going to tell you that I picked 3 upsets, in my opinion, 3 upsets for tomorrow night's card. And I think I might have messed up because not to jump right into it, I know we'll discuss it, but I did have, I believe, Shingo to beat Ospreay, which I don't know why I did it, but I believe that's the matchup. But I took a chance, and Shingo coming off that loss to Jeff Cobb kind of stirred me of why I picked that. But hopefully Shingo does pull this one out, but I'm sure we'll cover it later.
Yeah, I'm surprised Shingo lost to Jeff Cobb twice now. I got to be honest with you. Jeff Cobb, I mean, he's one of those that I think would not go far in the G1, but it looks like New Japan really is trying to put some stock into him because, again, not bad. And he has got 2 points. And again, Shingo Takagi, another surprising one. He has 0. And in fact, this was the guy last year that ran the gauntlet. Best Super Juniors only lost in the finale. Truth be told, now he's a heavyweight. But I would think after being in the heavyweight division for about a year now, he would get more momentum towards him, especially since he did lose the Neverweight Championship to Minoru Suzuki. And who knows, maybe that's a story they're going to try and revisit too when Shingo takes on Minoru again in the G1. And when I look at the matches to look forward to, there's definitely more I'm looking forward to in the A block versus the B block. With that being said, let's go ahead and look at our next day of action. So let's look at the unofficial G1 run for the Young Lions as they try and test out who is the better among the 3. But it's like a handicap match as one represents LA Dojo, the other 2 represents New Japan Dojo. And to think, one of these guys, Yoda he wants to take on Hiromu just because he's a really good wrestler. I think they could have a great match. One of these guys, Uyemura, has a death wish, wants to take on the King. And then the other one just wants to prove that he has gotten stronger overall. And he's representing LA Dojo, no pressure, and prove that LA Dojo is the better one versus New Japan Dojo. Not to mention, he's trying to draw something out Toge Makabe, who right now is off doing other projects. So tomorrow morning, and of course, day 5 will emanate from Kobe. Time will be here, let's see, September 27th. It'll be midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern Standard, 8 a.m. British Standard. So let's see what we got here. Opening bout for the Young Lions, we have in their unofficial tour, it's Yota Tsuji versus Gabriel Kidd. Yota Tsuji and Gabriel Kidd both have dropped a match in this tour. Yota Tsuji leads right now this front, 2 points to Kid and Uemura's 1. And so far, according to singles action, outside this included, Kid has yet to figure out Yota Tsuji. But Kid, to his credit, did recently pick up his first singles victory against Uemura using an interesting double arm type maneuver. So can he repeat the same thing against Yota Tsuji, who I believe, honestly, I think Yota Tsuji is going to take this whole thing. Give me your thoughts on this opening match. Who do you see winning? And if you were picking one of these three to win this little tour fame they set up, who's your pick to win?
I've always been a Gabriel Kidd fan, and it's ironic because I got a little small story behind it because I actually did my research on Gabriel Kidd, and I got in a little predictions league last year, and I think every single time I picked Gabriel Kidd, he lost. And then every single time I would pick him, I would go against him, he would win. So I've got that little relationship with Gabriel. So I'm actually rooting for him this year, and hopefully he'll be able to pull it out. I know he's only got 1 point so far, but we'll see what happens, though. I know it's a lot of pressure, representing the LA Dojo, of course. But hey, you know what? He's been there a while now, so it's time to step up and see what he's got.
Yeah, especially when we look at New Japan Strong, where the LA Dojo is strongly represented as well over there too. But again, Clark Connors, who's the key pick on the New Japan Young Lions Break crown, we'll see what happens with him as well. So good luck, kid. And honestly, I look at this right now. Again, the score is Yota 2. Kid 1, Uemura 1. It'd be crazy to think Yota Tsuji would win this and go up for 3. It almost would be a deficit that you think would be impossible. But I don't know. Can Gabriel Kidd beat both Uemura and Tsuji back to back? I don't think so, actually. I feel like Yota Tsuji right now is going to keep his lead in this, despite the fact that he cut his hair and looked like Baby Yoda. Like, I'm sure there's a meme somewhere. But how are you going with Yota Tsuji on this one? Should be a good bout. Which leads us straight into, of course, block action. Of course, this now would just be the A block. And, of course, it is one of my picks, the sleeper pick for me, the Holy Emperor. Taiji, he takes on Tokyo Pimp, Yujiro Takahashi. Yujiro's had a breakout year. I will give him credit. Challenging Okada, really representing Bullet Club during this COVID time. He's got some interesting wins, including over his rival, who had a 14-1 deficit over him, basically, as far as win-loss goes, Hiroki Goto, even though that was in tag action. So right now, Taiji, who's a block leader, 2-0, he faces Yujiro Takahashi still with the goose egg. And Yujiro has beaten Taiji in the past, but Taiji's beaten him more. It's 2 against 1. Now, when I look at Yujiro Takahashi, I don't think he's going to go this whole thing with 0 points. But I don't think he's going to go far enough to beat Taiji. What I found interesting about Taiji, though, is he used a mic stand against Minoru Suzuki, but afterwards he looked at that iron glove and he wondered, do I really need this? I wonder if Taiji's like questioning himself as far as his wrestling capabilities. Does he need this, or is that glove still channeling him? But regardless of mindsets that I think about here, I think Taiji's going to get the better of the Tokyo Pimp. Give me your thoughts on this match.
Of course, I said from the beginning, I think that the company's going to get behind Taichi. I think he's definitely going to win this one. But actually, if Takahashi was going to win one, I think a quick roll-up could actually be okay. And, it wouldn't actually tarnish, Taichi's push that much. Because, of course, it's the G1. There's upsets. We know how it goes. And I feel like they could probably slide one in here, but hopefully not, because I did go with Taichi. But every single time I discuss Takahashi, it always reminds me that the wrong Takahashi is in this tournament. I wanted to see the time bomb in here, but that's another conversation for another day. But for this, I'm just going to go ahead and Takahashi's going to still keep that 0.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, okay. Hopefully, yeah. But again, like you said, quick roll-up. I mean, he has resorted to that before. But then again, Taiji, this is a battle of heels. Don't think Taiji won't resort to a low blow behind the rest back and then that gator clutch that usually is inescapable, but some people have escaped it. But again, we'll wait and see. But I think Taiji's going to continue his run of momentum. All right, let's go ahead and look at this encounter because it's the first time ever New Japan singles meeting. As we look at the pissed-off king, Minoru Suzuki, taking on Jeff Cobb. Both these men are tied with 2 points. They've each won one. They've each dropped one. Now, the thing is that they did meet in a Rev Pro encounter where the King basically got the better of him in 2018. But I don't know, actually, because this is a Rev Pro, even though I know they have those deep connections. Of course, Ospreay's still the British champion. I forgot his next challenger. I think about Minoru Suzuki. I think about the fact he's neverweight champion. Jeff Cobb being a former neverweight champion himself. Jeff Cobb picking up a win here could set him up for a title match, but that also drops the King even further. And I would think the King would really go far in this too, get a pretty decent score. So Kobe should be very interesting here, and I'm wondering who's going to carry momentum to their next match. I was torn by this, but part of me believes that Minoru Suzuki is going to bounce back from his last loss here and really show Taiji something, because I'm sure that loss to Taiji is still in the back of his mind. My pick was the King, Minoru Suzuki here, but I see according to you, you picked Jeff Cobb. So what's your reasoning behind this?
I did pick Jeff Cobb, and I'm actually wondering if that's the wrong bet, because even though I did pick Shingo to beat Jeff Cobb, and yes, Jeff Cobb did win. But this is the thing. He might be getting a little push because it hasn't been announced yet, but we know he hasn't signed with AEW. We know he hasn't signed with WWE. We know he hasn't signed anywhere else. He's talked about wanting to be with New Japan, and supposedly he's already signed, but he hasn't come out and announced he's officially with New Japan. If that is the case, I believe, this is the start of a contract. They're going to try to push him, which means that he will get some wins. That is my only hope of him winning this match, because you're right. Suzuki is having that loss of Tachi in the back of his head, and he is mad because you got to think maybe the leadership, storyline is in his head. Maybe he's like, man, I need to step up and show who the true leader is. You know what I mean? So either way, I think he's going to go in this match 100%, and I think it's going to be a real uphill battle for Jeff Cobb, but hopefully he pulls it off coming off the momentum that he had against Shingo.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And according to what I'm reading here, the last time these two did meet each other, it was not a singles encounter. It was World Tag League, and Minoru Suzuki got the better of Cobb. But in 2018, the King was also victorious as well. So King's had Cobb's number, it seems. So it's going to be interesting to see how he handles the King one-on-one. And again, Minoru Suzuki, don't define him by age. Don't take me lightly. You want to step up to me, you better be ready for a fight. And again, like you said, they might be investing in somebody that might be signed. But then again, Jon Moxley did not sign, as far as we know, with New Japan Pro Wrestling. That was just verbal agreement. And literally, he almost ran the block by himself. Now, can Jeff Cobb get a Moxley run? I don't know. That's a lot to think about. So we'll wait and see. Now, I look at this match here, and I was really torn with this one. Because one of my all-time favorites in New Japan Pro Wrestling, especially G1CLIMAX performers, is the Stone Pitbull Bull Tomohiro Ishii. But you also know a fan favorite is Kota Ibushi. And I'm literally watching all Tomohiro Ishii singles matches through New Japan World on the archives. And these two are no strangers to each other. In fact, they faced each other once for, I believe, the Intercontinental Championship. No, not the Intercontinental Championship. It was it never? It probably was never. Anyway, it's Kota Ibushi, who right now has 2 points. He's 1-1, taking on Tomohiro Ishii, who's goose egg. I can't believe I just said that. 0-2. These two have had singles records now, 2-1, Ibushi's favorite. G1 record, though, Ibushi has gotten Ishii each time. Now, looking at the way I was thinking about Kota Ibushi's mindset and seeing that nobody's won the G1CLIMAX 2 years in a row, I'm thinking of Kota, maybe he can achieve the same thing, but after that Jay White loss, that idea is slowly deteriorating. When I think about Kota Ibushi's run, I thought the defining match for him would be against Taiji. And truth be told, it still might be, because that match is still to come. But with that being said, this is Tomohiro Ishii. This is the guy that you look at and you think, is he going to win? I don't care if he wins. I just want to see him smash him by his face. But if Kota Ibushi reaches deep down him and reaches that fluke state, that might be the difference maker here. So with that being said, I do not see Tomohiro Ishii going 3 matches in a row with a loss, but something in me believes that Kota Ibushi might bounce back and get the win here. And as I see, you and I both picked Kota Ibushi to win, though I'm reluctant on it at this point. But give me your thoughts about this match. What do you think is going to happen here? And what do you think about this match overall, especially with what both these men's G1 runs has been?
Right. Outside of Sonata, I would say Kota is the most confusing one that I'm trying to figure out in this climax. After he got the big one against Okada, he did that promo saying he's going to be the god of wrestling, or however he put it. It really woke me up. I was like, wow, like that is a statement. But then he follows it up with a loss to Jay White. So what do you do? And now he's going up against Ishii, who is 0-2, back up against the wall. Somebody's got to step up. Is it going to be Ishii for his first win, or is Kota going to regain that momentum from the first night? I mean, I don't know. I'm going to go with the most dominant one in the past, which is Kota. I would probably pick Kota 9 times out of 10, so I did it the same thing for this. I'll pick Kota to win.
Yeah, again, and I was right. 2014, as I look at cage match, Kota Ibushi, Tomohiro Ishii, they faced each other for the Neverweight Championship, and Tomohiro Ishii beat him for that. I think, in my opinion, Tomohiro Ishii is one of the most well-respected, successful, never overweight champions, in my opinion. I mean, he's held that title, I think, for the most runs. But again, we'll have to wait and see. But I think right now, when I look at these matches, that is probably the #1 match I'm looking forward to the most tomorrow. But then again, we got this one where both men went from junior heavyweight 1 year later to heavyweight. And these two men went past 30 minutes. Are we on the verge of our first draw? As it is a Best of the Super Juniors 2019 finale rematch. But their first encounter with each other in the G1, and both men right now, Will Ospreay's perfect, Shingo is goose egg, and they've only faced each other one at a time, that other match. It's Will Ospreay versus Shingo Takagi. What the hell's going to happen here? What can they do to surpass what they did in Best of Super Juniors? Now they're both heavyweights. And can Shingo Takagi finally bounce back and get some momentum? Could this be Shingo Takagi's biggest win to date? Could he maybe put his name towards going after the British Heavyweight Championship? Because again, Will Ospreay, he still has that belt. While Milano is singing the praises of Will Ospreay, mega superstar, future champion, etc., 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 especially after his last successful win against Tomohiro Ishii, I look at this match and I think about in the back of my mind, there's those people that are still reluctant about Will Ospreay returning and New Japan Pro Wrestling putting stock in him due to reasons. I look at Shingo Takagi and I think about who's on the other side in the B block, and I think about could we be getting some sort of all LIJ title match prior to Wrestle Kingdom or even at Wrestle Kingdom. Bottom line, I feel like Naito's going to be involved in the main event at Wrestle Kingdom. I will say that right now. Whether he's champion or challenger is a whole different story. But just looking at this match, just this match right here, I feel like Will Ospreay is virtually unstoppable. But I feel like Shingo Takagi, he really is going to do everything he can to get the win here. So with that being said, I went with Shingo Takagi for the win. And so did you. Now give me your thoughts on this match. And now that I think about it, do you think this actually might become a draw?
I don't know. I think that if there was going to be a draw, what a better match to do so. I recently told you privately like a week ago that Meltzer called Shingo one of the greatest wrestlers in the world today.
Correct.
And that kind of like laid cement in my mind because I can't get that out of my head. And I think that played a factor in me picking him over Ospreay, which I'm a big Ospreay fan. I know he's had his issues with everything that's happened, but either way, I still support him, and I really didn't want to pick against him, to be honest with you, especially, he's in great shape. You can see he's ready for this, and I really do believe that they're positioning him to go on a nice run and prove that he is one of the best wrestlers in the world, whether you like it or not. And he even had a promo after night one, or was it night one or night two, that he had his debut back, and it was just night one. And he said that he is going to be the best wrestler in the world. He said it for the last 2 or 3 years, but I think he's in a position now where he can really show it. With that being said, what did I just say about Shingo? That's why I said the draw makes sense to me. I mean, I didn't think that Shingo would lose to Cobb, but it happened. So now we got to see what goes forward, and I think maybe a draw might happen, but I picked Shingo, so we'll see.
Yeah, this match, I'm sure Meltzer is going to have his eyes heavily on. As you say, he praises him. And, of course, everyone is always like, oh, Meltzer's biased, Meltzer's this, Meltzer's that. How can he rate this match versus this match? Even in New Japan Pro Wrestling, when it comes to Meltzer, people blast him for it, especially with his recent ratings. But with that being said, they're not the main event. This is the main event. And this right here makes me wonder, is this Okada's breaking point? As we get G1 Supercard rematch for not the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. It's just purely G1. Is this G1 or J1? Reign Maker, Kazuchika Okada, who is 2 points, versus Jay White, who's a block leader with 4 points. No doubt with Gato in his corner, and I'm sure Gato's revenge is still way in the back of Gato's mind. But the overall singles record stands. It is 2-1 in Jay White's favor, as he's got on the Rainmaker for the better twice, including a previous G1. So with that being said, and thinking about right now, Jay White, again, he has all the momentum in the world, it seems, and will resort to do anything to beat Okada. While I feel like Okada, he is not going to go as far as Jay White, I feel like. And again, I feel that's going to be his downfall, because I don't see Jay White tapping out to a submission. I don't. I went with Okada on this one, and I will really be shocked personally if Jay White wins this, because something in me feels like Jay White's going to be the one guy to push Okada back to the Rainmaker, because he's either going to drive him nuts, or Okada be like, I can't make this guy tap out. I can't make this guy go to sleep. Sure, I'm going to rely on this, but maybe I need to finally put out the Rainmaker. I personally hope that Jay White forces Okada to use the Rainmaker, and it leads Okada to victory. Now, with that being said, you also pick Okada to pick the win here. But again, with the fact he wants to resort relying on this submission, I'm definitely second-guessing myself. But give me your thoughts on this match. Do you see Jay White getting the better of Okada in another G1?
Man, that's a very good question. That is the question of all questions. And the thing about it is, it all boils down to what they're gonna do. How did they book it? Because they could go 5 or 6 different directions. And of course, you know the history with Gato, and it's just, I would like to think Okada's gonna get his revenge here, but does Jay White have Okada's number? Is that the real question? I don't know. Like I said, I predicted Okada was going to run the table. That hasn't been the case. Jay White is the one that looks dominant. He looks like the one that might run the table. Now, could this be the one that could beat the draw? We were just talking about Shingo and Will. Could we just be blindsided and this be the draw? I guess we'll have to find out. But I did pick Okada. I picked Okada to win the whole thing. So, still, I still feel that way.
All right, fair enough. Also, I think about one other person that might be a factor. What if Yujiro shows up?
Ooh.
Gotta think about that, because again, Yujiro has yet to beat Okada, but he sure knows how to bring Okada down to his level. And again, I really wonder what's gonna cause Okada to reach that next gear, because I personally don't feel like he's putting everything into the G1, which really is a weird statement, but it just feels that way to me. But with that being said, that's the action for tomorrow. And then we get a one-day reprieve, thankfully, because sometimes watching this night out could be overbearing.
Break up a little bit.
Oh, no problem. It happens. It's nice to know that after tomorrow, we get a one-day break, and then we'll look at the B block. So bottom line is this is definitely the most interesting G1 to me. And I still believe in my heart, at the end, somehow it's going to come down to Taiji versus Sonata, and I picked Taiji to pick the G1 overall. So as we think about what's ahead in the G1, even though what we've seen so far, Mark, who do you see as the block winners, and who's your overall pick to win the G1 as we close this discussion for now?
You know what? I got to stick with my guns, and if I was to be asked to make new picks, I probably would have new picks, but I will be sticking to my guns. I had Okada and Evil in the finals.
Whoa.
And I had Okada beating Evil because I don't think they're done with Evil's push. I don't think they were very happy with his title run. It wasn't spectacular. It wasn't bad either. But I don't think they're done with him. And I think they want to I don't know. I think they want to show that wasn't a fluke, that this wasn't a one-time deal, that they do have something with Evil. So I would like to think that that's the story, but we'll see what happened. I know Zack Sabre Jr. had something to say about that. But either way, I got Evil and Okada in the finals, and Okada winning it all. And I think that you got to have a winner that's going to be able to headline the Tokyo Dome. I don't know if Sonata is ready to headline the Tokyo Dome, but we'll see. I like Sonata. I told you earlier, but he always lets me down, so that's why I went with Okada and Evil. And we'll see what happens, and hopefully Okada will win it.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because it looks like the last match in Okada's run will be against the one guy that he has yet to lose to, but it's the one guy right now that everyone believes can finally beat him too. Okada's last match in his run will be against Will Ospreay. Is this the year Will Ospreay finally beats Okada? Can Will Ospreay win the A block? And will Ospreay versus Okada be our deciding match, or will it be more so a spoiler or tiebreaker? Now, when you talk about Evil, though, and I look at his final runnings to go through, his last match is actually going to be against his former Padre, Sonata. And that's why I went with Sonata, because I feel like that's going to be the deciding match that wins the block. Personally, I kind of agree with you that Evil's going to go far in this, especially with the fact that he's using any methods to win with Dick Togo. And that's what allowed him to beat Yoshihashi. But I feel like, honestly, for me, the A block is going to come down to Taiji versus Kota, and we're going to fall back on that to determine our overall winner. And I feel B block is going to come down to Sonata versus Evil. And in the end, I see Sonata and Taiji duking it out in the finale. And we'll have to wait and see. But bottom line is this. We are just starting. We're not even halfway through this freaking thing. I can't believe that. As again, 19 events, and this is only night 5. We still have 14 days to go, including the finale. And at this point, anything can happen. I'm just literally relying on my pick to win the blocks and my overall pick to win, because I personally want to see that performance at Wrestle Kingdom in the main event with Miho Abe challenging for the gold, whether it's both golds or a brand new singles belt against Tetsuya Naito. Because I feel like right now Tetsuya Naito is not losing those belts again. That's all I got to say about that. Any other thoughts regarding that or Tetsuya Naito's double run or anything else?
You were starting to break up. You say my final thoughts on something?
Yeah, your final thoughts on Tetsuya Naito's double championship run. Do you see them making a new belt that just unifies the one? Do you see Tetsuya Naito dropping these belts again before Wrestle Kingdom? Do you see Tetsuya Naito literally challenging his, what do you see being like the match that breaks Naito's run in this? Because you didn't pick Naito to win. Do you think Naito and Evo is going to be the deciding match between those two in this block?
Yeah, I actually do, to be honest with you. Now that I the question was going in and out, but see, now that I feel a little bit differently, how I felt a week ago to how I feel now is definitely been altered. But like I said, I will stick with my guns. Naito's got to lose sometime, and I do believe that I had Evil going over. But see, I don't think that he will lose in the Tokyo Dome. That's the thing. I mean, there's no doubt that I think Okada might win, the G1. But as far as headlining the Tokyo Dome, facing Naito, I think Naito is definitely going to keep his belts regardless of who the winner is. I think this is Naito's time. Everybody's got a dynasty. Back in the 90s, the Cowboys had a dynasty. Up into 2000, in NBA, the Golden State Warriors had their dynasty. The Patriots had their dynasty. I think this is Naito's time. This is going to be his 2 or 3 year run, and this is going to be Naito's dynasty. And I think he's going to hold on to at least the IWGP Heavyweight title for a very long time.
Yeah, I'm just curious what they're going to do with the Intercontinental, because you would think the fact that the Intercontinental and the Heavyweight are looked at as the same belt, it kind of defeats the purpose of people workhorsing the way to the Heavyweight. It's like you win, you become a 2-belt champion. As Zack Jr. just stepped on the 2 belts and really gave Naito a run for his money. And then I think about Naito's knees, the constant damage to his knees being put out here, and how the Ace really went to exploit that in their match as well. And I look at the longevity of all these people in New Japan Pro Wrestling, because they literally just beat the crap out of each other. No pun intended. So, yeah, I definitely could see Naito leading LIJ and probably New Japan at least for the next couple of years. But as far as who's after that, who knows at this point? And again, you want Hiromu Takahashi to be in this. He's not considered a heavyweight yet. That's why he's not in this. He's still a junior heavyweight, which chances are, according to rumors, he'll probably be involved if they choose to do it in some sort of hybrid of the Junior World Tag League and Best Super Juniors following the G1. Because keep in mind, during this time, we've already been done with the G1. We'd be on the Tour of Destruction. We'd be setting up for King of Pro Wrestling, the pay-per-view. Makes me wonder if this KLPW trophy is the replacement for that pay-per-view as a class of its own. And that's another thing. We got to see who's going to challenge Toru Yano next for that trophy. So let's go ahead and dig into the craziness now in New Japan Pro Wrestling. We both believe Toru Yano is going to finally meet somebody that will outsmart him in this game during the G1, or at least we're praying for it. So with that being said, let's look at what we think the future might be. Mark, who do you believe will challenge Toru Yano next for KLPW 2020 before the year is out? It's got to be somebody that beats him in the B block, I imagine, during the G1. But give me your thoughts towards this, because I don't have a damn clue.
No, I really don't either, to be honest with you. It wouldn't surprise me if it would be somebody from Suzuki-gun, just the way they've been on a roll. It seems like all the gold, all the belts are with Suzuki-gun right now. It just seems that way.
So the bulk of
outside of the outside of the double champion, of course. And what better to put the icing on the cake than somebody in the faction hold that trophy?
Well, if you think about Suzuki-gun and Toru Yano, there's only one person that could possibly do that, and that's if Zack Sabre Jr. beats him October 8th. But Zack Sabre Jr., he wants to elevate the tag team gold. That's his driving force. So everybody in Suzuki-gun seems to have their own agenda right now. So the way I see it, if anyone's going to challenge Toru Yano for that trophy, maybe Yoshihashi, just as an impromptu thing, because that's another match to come as well. And of course, we'll vote for whatever stipulation they decide. So that's just my thoughts on that. But I just feel like I had to talk about Toru Yano because right now, I'm just calling it. He's the most dangerous man right now in professional wrestling, in New Japan Pro Wrestling, because this guy right now, you can't beat him. He seems to outsmart everybody. There's a reason why his theme, according to NJPW, is literally called Intoxicated. It's like this guy, you need to be drunk against him to try and outsmart him because he just is, I don't know. Somebody needs to figure out the Toru Yano formula to stop this guy, and I don't know who.
See what it is they need to go in there. Do not play with Toru Yano. He's not there to make you laugh. He's not there to entertain you. He is there to beat you in any way, whether he's blindfolded, whether he is standing on one foot, whatever he does, he can beat you. So what I think is somebody needs to go up to him and be vicious. They need to treat him like anybody else and pin him 1, 2, 3. No games. That's what they need to do to Toru Yano, man.
Well, according to the schedule, his next match is against Evil. So if Evil doesn't beat this guy, I think it's a clear shot for him personally through most of this block, considering who is left in this. Because at this point, you got to just literally subdue Toru Yano in one spot and really tie up all his limbs, because it sounds like unless you do that, you're not beating this guy. But bottom line is this. B block, person to look out for. We got Sonata, we got Evil, we got Toru Yano, we got Naito. I say those are definitely your big four. But I'm curious how far Juice Robinson goes in his run, and how he and Kenta will be set up for that briefcase, which clearly has to happen. As far as A block goes, any one of these men I feel like could take this block, except for Yujiro. That's the only one I'm counting out. I'm not counting out anybody else in this block except Yujiro. I feel like A block right now is the most open to a potential different winner. Considering out of this field of 20, only like 5 of these men, I think, have actually won a G1. The rest haven't. So I'm curious to see how the rest of this tour goes. And with that being said, we have Kobe tomorrow, day 5, A-block action. I look forward to seeing how far we're right or wrong. Who does better? Who leads in the Joy one? Is it the J1 for Jay White? And what's to come after us, and of course, reviewing it. So I think for that now, we're done discussing New Japan Pro Wrestling and the G1 for the time being. I hope y'all enjoyed this discussion. Let me get your thoughts. Any further questions or thoughts with you, Mark?
Yeah, I just had one more thing I personally wanted to ask you. I can't remember exactly which night this matchup is. I believe it's within the next week. How do you think, Kenta, when he faces Jay White, what happens? I mean, as far as the leader of the Bullet Club, whether it's Kenta, Evil, Jay White, any type of combination of one-on-one matchups, what happens with the leader of the Bullet Club? What do you think?
Okay, well, here's the thing. Shout out to Jeff Meacham. We follow the Jeff Meacham network. It's actually Evil, so I see what you're saying, because again, Jay White's in the A block. The only way you'll see Jay White versus Kenta or Evil is if Kenta or Evil wins the B block. So again, biggest match I think you just talked about there. Kenta versus Evil. It's like Evil maybe is like an impromptu leader in Japan. I get what you're saying. As far as that match goes, let's see here. That match will take place, Kenta and Evil. Oh, wow. That's actually very close. That's October 1st. So here's the way I see it. Evil's got 2 points right now. Kenta has 2 points right now. And these two will have a day of B block action before October 1st. In fact, the next day for B block action is the 29th. So that's prior to the October 1st. As far as that match goes, I could see that being very methodical here, because these two, they did face each other last year in the G1, but it was a whole different world. Kenta was the neutral newcomer doing the Shibata way of wrestling, while Evil was in it for himself, trying to surpass LIJ. Now it's a whole different world. Both these men are Bullet Club. When it comes to Bullet Club as Bullet Club, anything can go. But in the end, it's about being the best and proving what you're going to do to win. Kenta right now, we know he is underhanded. He will use shenanigans. But again, the deciding factor, I go back to it. Dick Togo, I feel, will be the deciding factor. And it's because of that I feel like when this match does happen, that Evil will get the better of Kenta. He'll probably work on that arm that Kenta still has the PCL tape on as well. Wouldn't surprise me one bit, but I would go with Evil in that situation. And that honestly might be the breaking point for Kenta's run in the G1, for all I know.
Maybe so. Togo is the spoiler.
Yeah, and people think Toru Yano's the spoiler. Toru Yano's a spoiler of a different class.
Right.
But I digress. And again, the next match for Toru Yano on the 29th is literally Evil. So I don't know whether or not people are going to be cheering for Toru Yano or people are going to hope that Evil beats Toru Yano. It feels like in the wacky world right now we live in, of professional wrestling, this is the one match that people will literally go bizarro and cheer for Evil to beat Toru Yano. I feel like
Exactly.
Cindy is one of them. I don't know about you, but I feel like right now
If you would have told me 10 days ago that Juice Robinson and Yano would be at the top and Sonata and Tanahashi would be at the bottom, I would have swore you were drinking.
Yeah, how ironic, right? The Ace of Sonata, 0 points. Juice Robinson, block leader. Toru Yano, block leader. Oh, my gosh in heaven. What a weird time we live in professional wrestling. Bottom line is this, G1, who will be the one? You've heard our thoughts, our choices. I'm sure we're going to be like, we're dead wrong. But we're going to stick to it. I stick to my guns. He stick to his guns. Good luck to everybody in the G1CLIMAX. Good luck to Janice J1. Good luck to everybody in the G1. And, of course, above all else, be safe. Mark, this was a fun discussion, man. I really enjoyed talking with you. We definitely got to do this again further down the line. Is there anything you want to plug or promote, and where can people find you to talk wrestling? We'll definitely got to do this again.
Yeah, absolutely. First off, I want to apologize, too, because halfway through the video, it did get dark outside. I am standing out here in the pitch black dark, and you guys can't even see me right now.
And
but either way, I'll make sure next time we do this, I'll make sure that I have some type of setup to where I'm inside of some sort and have some type of light. But yeah, I appreciate it. I enjoyed it. I can't wait till the next time we can talk some New Japan. Maybe this time next week. Maybe I'll do it once a week until this tournament's over.
Yeah,
but either way, so either way, I'm looking forward to it. And I just want to shout out Team All Elite, of course, the NWA podcast. And if you are a AEW fan, I've sent out invitations on Twitter, on Facebook. Join us. It's a family. Noah's involved. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And Noah, thank you for having me on again.
Oh, my pleasure, sir. Thank you so much for your time and your wrestling know-how and your friendship. People, you want to know more about me? Know this. I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of ... wrestling. So follow me, Twitter, Instagram, PlayStation, and Foster1916. YouTube channel, youtube.com/user/NoFoster210 for all things wrestling. Shout out to my ATW family on Twitter. You want to know what I'm about? It's in the description down below. Support Team All Elite, No DQ, WrestleJoy. It's all there. Support Red Cherry Brand, Jeff Meacham Network, and support Empire Wrestling, folks, because at the end of the day, that's the heart of it for us as wrestling fans. As always, I like to close. Support your wrestling outlets, big and small, and let's keep growing this incredibly diverse, unique, elite, authentic, unscripted, unrestricted wrestling community together. Simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell, know the next video goes live on this channel. Hit the subscribe button, help me keep growing this channel. Shout out to all my 62 of you that's with me, that's fun YouTuber creator's journey. I'm within 1 month of my second year as a YouTuber, so stay tuned to a special anniversary simple stream where I'll be talking something or all things. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. There will be new content to come definitely over the next year. I guarantee you that. Upcoming content includes new series premiere, NXT Scene, as well as the next episode of AEW Spark. If you haven't already, like this gentleman here, please join the Notiku Guys Predictions League. Let your thoughts be known for Clash of Champions. There's some good stuff, believe it or not, and it's a full card, so I'll give them credit. But until next time, I just hope you all, for Mark the Griff Reviews and his family, for my family, and I'm just a simple Noah Foster, I hope you all take care, enjoy life. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. Treasure your families. Enjoy wrestling. Wear a mask. Exercise caution. Be safe for those around you and those that you're unaware of too. We all have to get through this together. And until the next video, I just hope you all have a wonderful night. Gokigenyo, sayonara.